Hi everyone and welcome back to the Brick Bods. If you haven't already, don't forget to subscribe to our channel. Join me today for an update on our selling adventure. So we did a lot of sorting back at the start of the year of our inventory. Went through a lot of the cupboards and found things that we could finally, I say we, I mean me, could finally admit to myself that we were not going to build, or we just had duplicates of sets. Wrote down what things we were going to be selling. I started myself a spreadsheet called Lego to Sell. And at the same time, I was going through minifigures that we had duplicates of as well. And pricing those up seemed a lot of effort. I left it to the last minute. I did that all last week. I used eBay to price my sets. So I would look for completed items. Or I'd go through the last 3 or 4 and work out a rough price. I did factor in about a £5 for most sets. If there was quite a lot of low prices and then a couple of high ones, I'd go with the higher ones, just to give me a little bit of wiggle room to be able to knock prices down if they weren't selling. And I didn't actually do any of that price knocking, which is good. Some people did negotiate little deals, but apart from that, there was no, at the end, reduce everything by a £5. We sold a decent amount that I didn't feel like I needed to do that. So yes, we did bring some things home because of it, I guess, but I think it was more that there was just not enough people left at the end of the show to sell to. So it would have been doing myself a disservice wasting that time on repricing sets. Figures, I used Bricklink. So I looked at anything in the UK because I figure that's my market. I'm a UK seller, so I would look at UK ones, and I looked between the first price, unless it was marked as damaged, then I took the first non-damaged price, and then the 6th one, and I kind of worked out an average there. There were quite a few minifigs where they didn't seem to really be going for much less than £2, and so I decided to use all of those ones between £2 and £3. I put them on a buy 5 for £10 option. So some of them I would have lost a little bit of money on, some of them I would have gained a bit of money on. That seemed just like an easy option to get rid of figures, and that was a very popular deal. So here is my table at the show after I'd finished setting up. We had quite a few things on boxes behind our stall because they just wouldn't fit on the table, but the table itself was all laid out. We had some duplicates in boxes ready to replenish if things sold. I had spent the previous night frantically unpacking and building minifigures because we had boxes of brand new minifigs, and I just totally forgot that those would need building to sell. I wasn't going to sell them in the bags. I wanted them ready to put on the base plates to go. So that was a lot of time spent doing those. So the show itself, I made 3 sales, I think, before it even opened from people who were just walking around, sellers and things. The lovely Gaz was one of my first purchases, which is nice. And I'll show you here my timeline of my sales. As you can see, I was pretty much constantly selling for most of the show up until about 2 o'clock when things pretty much fizzled out. And there was a couple of sales after that, but I didn't feel like I was sat waiting or stood waiting even for people to come and buy stuff. There was a steady stream of people, which was really nice. I definitely felt like it was a fun thing to be doing. I had a lot of nice conversations with people as they were buying. I gave my opinions on what they were buying, whether it was a great set to choose, especially with the minifigs. I was like, oh yes, that's a good choice of minifig, because I really like minifigs. So it was nice to share that. So even though I was displaying, but I wasn't stood behind a display, it still felt quite a nice engagement with the public to chat about Lego. So some points that I think would have helped me. I used a sum up device, and obviously the sum up app that goes with it. And if I'd known a bit more about that, I think I could have done a little better on my organisation. So some of the things like the 5 for £10 on the minifigs, if I'd had just an item to push for that, which you can set up, that would have been a lot quicker than having to type in £10 each time. I was initially trying to keep track of what minifigs I'd sold, but actually if the minifig's gone, the minifig's gone. I don't think I care too much. Keeping an eye on what sets I'd sold, I kind of wanted to see my profit margins on those a bit more. So I was writing in things for those, and I feel like I could have got better at writing stuff. So if they bought 3 sets, I'd try and write a brief description of all 3 sets in one item. But there is a plus button on the app that I didn't notice. So I could have done each item individually, and then it would have done the adding up for me, because I did accidentally try and overcharge, I think, 2 or 3 people. So not too bad. And they were on it, and I was apologetic, and I think they're totally understanding that sometimes you're just not in the right mindset. It was hard. I got a float out from the bank. I did need some of it, but I don't think I needed as much as I got out. So that was just like a weighty thing around my neck, unfortunately, having all those pound coins. But I don't think you can be sure how much you're going to need. So I'd rather have had it and not needed it than not have it and needed it. So since getting back from the show, I have filled in my spreadsheet of what I sold, a date of when and where I sold it, so that if I do other shows, I've got records for tax purposes. I wrote in how much I sold items for and worked out sort of what profits I made. So I was trying to make sure I didn't sell things for less than I'd bought them for. And I think there was only one item where I spent more on the item by about £1 than I sold it for. But I just wanted rid of some items just to make some space. So I've done that. I think that's a good bit of housekeeping to do. I've made sure that the money has come through from the SumUp account, which is nice. I've counted my cash, and I've made sure to put all the stuff back upstairs in the leg room. So I'll show you the shelves that we've got up in the leg room now and how they're looking. So I figured an important part of post sales is to get the things that we didn't sell back somewhere together. So this is in the little cupboard under the stairs, and the top shelf is now going to be my to sell stash. I guess if there's sets that are bigger than that, they'll have to go somewhere else. But you can see this was completely full before. We had like so many boxes of minifigs up here. Those are all now unboxed. I think I will probably end up with minifigs on here sort of ready to sell as well. But one shelf of stuff, and then look, we've got empty space here. I am annoyed with myself for missing some sets. So some of the sets that I wanted to sell were bigger Friends sets that I'd accumulated like several of, and they didn't make it to the show, so they're still in the main shelves. I also think I need to get rid of these. That's not Lego, and I doubt we're ever going to build it, so I may as well send that off to the charity shop. But this space, there were so many gift purchases here, and now there are not. So I can start building those up again. And if I find gift purchases on the stairs, if I'm going to build them, this shelf. If I'm not, that shelf. Just being organised. That's the important part. So would I do it again? I think yes. I think try and have a few more things organised beforehand. Get your minifigs completely ready before the day before. I think also if you're selling and displaying at the same time, having a less interactive kind of display gives you a bit more time to focus on the selling. That might be what you want, that might not be. But there was 2 of us there, so we made it work quite well. What am we going to do with the money that we've got? Well, we were just essentially trying to clear some space. We weren't trying to make money as such. And we have made some space. There's still a lot of stuff in the cupboard. But we raised enough cash that I kind of feel less worried about the next Brickling Designer Programme round, because I have to find that money. I still think we should probably think about whether we buy 2 or 3 sets from that, because there's 3 that we want, but they're all very expensive. So we need to definitely be sure about spending that money. And especially when you've earned that money from hard work, standing and selling, it makes me less willing to just spend it on Lego. But the whole point was I was moving Lego to be able to spend that money back on Lego. It's not like I'm trying to make money to fund a holiday as much as I'd like to. I'm trying to not use my actual income from Ian's job and my tidy job to spend on Lego. I kind of want to have every now and then a cash injection from things like gift with purchases and stuff, minimizing the amount we're spending. Actual real money is kind of key. So that's where that money will be going, back into buying more Lego for the city. So yeah, I've had a great time. I found certain elements really interesting as well. The number of people who paid via watches, I thought that was fancy. One guy, he got a automatic receipt, which I thought was good. And the fact that you could even give receipts from the Sum Up app was quite fun. I had 2 people who had to put their cards actually into the device and put the pin in. Again, no idea why, but there was a good variety of things to find out, and I really enjoyed that. So I don't know if I'd find the second experience slightly less exciting because I've already done all those things, but it was entertaining for me. So if you are considering selling your Lego, I hope this has been helpful for you. Let me know if you've got any tips about selling Lego yourself. If you want to see more kind of behind the scenes of being a Lego addict, then I'll link up our playlist for that at the end as well. And don't forget to like and subscribe so you never miss an update. See you later.